Well, Sasol says its proposed new B-BBEE scheme is what it and South Africa needs to advance the transformation of the economy. But its new Khanyisa scheme is not the first of its type at Sasol. The company's first B-BBEE program, Inzalo, failed to pay out to more than 250,000 black South Africans who participated. To discuss that, we're joined by Bravura BLC's head of corporate finance, Soria Hay. Thank you so much, Soria, for your time today. I think let's start in the beginning with the Inzalo scheme. Why did that fail, do you think?
So the Inzalo scheme was share price dependent, and Sasol's share price is obviously driven by two factors, the oil price and the rand exchange with the dollar. So when that scheme terminated or had the last effective date, the share price was underwater, so nobody could get anything, and Sasol still owed roughly 13 billion to the banks.
There were two components to the deal. There was the funded portion of the Inzalo scheme, and those some people actually paid at a discount for some of their shares. Did anybody actually make money out of it?
So out of the scheme, through the period, there were some trickle dividends. So that flowed, and that was good. But from an outcome perspective, no, the shareholders didn't retain value.
Okay, so looking at their new proposal, what does it look like?
So the new proposal is a completely different scheme. It is on a South African level only. And what it also does is it's not externally funded, it is now only internally funded by Sasol. So from that perspective, I think it removes two problems that they had. It removes the share price dependency, and it also removes the fact that it was external debt, which was not sustainable. So I think there they have done well. And then I think the third thing is the participants are mainly the same. The same participants had the right to participate again, obviously save for this issue of the employee trust, where some of the employees are now excluded.
So there won't be an open call for new shareholders. This will be the same participants from the previous Inzalo scheme who then participate in Khanyisa.
Correct, together. And with some members of the public. But all black-owned participants with white employees excluded going forward.
All right, so let's talk a bit about the ownership structure. I do remember the B-BBEE Commission raising some concerns about it, particularly in fact, on both counts, from the Sasol Foundation side, as well as the share ownership scheme for the employees. What is the actual concern with the underlying ownership structure?
So, Sasol said in its circular to shareholders that the Commission does not believe that the foundation or the employee share scheme qualify for ownership purposes. They didn't go into detail. They did say that they disagree with the interpretation of the ownership points. And as we all know, the shareholders have voted it through. So the whole market is sort of wondering a little bit what is going on there. We would surmise that it's really two things. The Commission have said that they don't like the fact that broad-based trusts are used to window dress or to front BEE transactions. So I would guess that's the one thing. And the second one is the Commission like to see ownership with voting rights as opposed to what they call beneficiaries. So that would be the second problem, we would guess.
Okay, so let's talk about the scheme itself then. As you said, they've said they've removed the external factors of the rand exchange rate and the fluctuations in the oil price. So where does the benefit then come in of it being the Sasol SA structure rather than the broader Sasol International?
Okay, so any Sasol participant in the scheme too will still be influenced by the rand and the oil price. I think the point that it's not share price dependent on a specific point in time is really what saves this scheme. And what happens at the end is it will be listed on a black exchange, and then thereafter the shares will be freely tradable between black people. So what it does is it also gives Sasol sustainable BEE ownership. But it allows the participants to not have a guillotine hanging over the scheme on a specific point in time.
And the lock-in period remains 10 years?
There's a 10-year period. Some of the shares that they get for free, as part of the previous participation, they can trade after 3 years already.
Okay.
So,
what's your sense? Do you think that Inzalo shareholders would want to participate in this, given that they were burnt to be honest, in the previous scheme?
So most of the Inzalo shareholders have actually accepted the offer to participate, if you look at the results that Sasol published. And I would say it is definitely, from a sustainability and a value perspective, a transaction that I think that could deliver value and be sustainable, yes.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time. Today, Bravura BLC's Head of Corporate Finance, Soria Hay.